Hey everybody, I'm Alex League Blue, and I read a big stack of comics, and I'm going to show you guys all the books I read recently, and also give them all a quick review apiece. So let's get it started off with the books that I read most recently. This is Wild Dog number 2, so it's Wild Dog number 2 of the 4-part miniseries. So this one was really cool, just like the first issue. I love that one. And once again, he's basically a man of not many words, but he definitely has a lot of action to make up for it. I really like Wild Dog a lot as a character, and I really am enjoying the story so far. Just great stuff. Very cool kind of, I would say he's almost like a more likable Punisher to me, because I feel like he's more of a kind of maybe more of a good guy, but also doing the crazy stuff a little bit like he does. But either way, I really like his costume. Also, it's just really good story so far. Really fun stuff. Straight to the point. I really like it. And next up is Wild Dog number 3. So in this one, it adds a little bit more intrigue to the overall, like, this one guy's trying to figure out who his identity is. He kind of thinks it's one of these 3 guys, and he's trying to figure out which one he is. You also get some more story beats mixed in with this whole 4-part series that's starting to take shape. And in general, this was a really fun one. Also has a really cool ending, like it usually does for that matter. And yeah, just a great issue was issue 3, just like issue 1 and 2. Very much looking forward to trying to find issue 4 and reading that one. I've loved this series so far. All right, and then next up we have Fantastic Four, issue 285. I just picked this one up actually the other day. It was on my last video in the haul. But yeah, anyways, so this one was a great story. It actually has the Beyonder playing an interesting role in this one. He actually is kind of a good guy almost in a way. In this one, like he sort of was at times. I found it this story is a very serious story not the Fantastic Four isn't in general, but very serious story for sure. So much so that I actually had tears in my eyes in this one. I don't generally have that happen very often. So yeah, it was a moving story to say the least. I really like this one a lot in general. Just a great story, and I always love reading Fantastic Four. But this one was a little more grounded than usual, so I found that interesting as well. All right, next up, Marvel Comics Presents number 22. I always love Marvel Comics Presents. I've talked about that quite a bit before. But in case you guys don't already read this, or haven't read it, I should say, it generally has 4 different stories in each one. And they're all like either ongoing stories or else they're one-offs. But yeah, they're really cool in general. I just love these because having 4 different stories in each one, and they're kind of mini stories sometimes, is just really cool. I really liked it a lot. This one continues the Cyclops story where he's taking on Master Mode. That one takes an interesting twist here. It was a really good part of it. And the Black Panther, very brutal and kind of serious storyline continues in this one. That's always pretty interesting. And the other 2 stories was pretty good as well. I remember the one had the girls from, what is it called, Mutant X in it. I don't know if that's what the teams called it at the time, but anyways, it has Wolfsbane and Mirage. So they're in one of them. That was a pretty interesting one too. It's a one-off. And the other one was decent as well with Star Fox. I actually like that one pretty good. It's one of the first few times I read much with Star Fox in it that much also so far. So yeah, but yeah, overall great issue. I really like this one a lot. An awesome cover, as you can see on that as well. And next up, one of the ones I got from my brother for Christmas last year, I believe it was. So I got Spider-Man 234. I finally read this one, Sinister Six Reborn Part 1. This one is essentially just the Sinister Six's origin of this, but it was a pretty good story overall. There's some other things going on, but I thought the forming of that team was pretty intriguing. So I really enjoyed this one a lot, as I generally do Spider-Man stories anyways. So yeah, very good one on that, if you like Spider-Man especially. And next up we have Star Wars number 5. It's the second printing. Great cover on this, by the way. I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. I definitely always liked the original ones, and I also like the prequels to varying levels, I guess. Especially the Revenge of the Sith. I thought that one was actually really good. I also really like Force Awakens, although after that it falls off pretty hard for me. But nonetheless, I really like this issue. Let me rephrase that. I like parts of this one quite a bit. The Han and Leia stuff was pretty great. And you get a little bit of Luke in here. You also get, Boba Fett being a total jerk in this one, which I guess is kind of his thing. But yeah, I kind of want to see him get his comeuppance. But it ends with setting up a showdown for the next issue between him and Luke Skywalker. So it just looks like it's setting it up. I can't wait to check that out if I ever get the next one. But yeah, it was a decent enough read, and like I said, it's always fun to read some Star Wars anyways. All right, next up we have Doom's 4, number 2. That was almost tricky, but I had to remember which way it was, but I saw it on the cover, so. All right, so this one is another Image title. I generally like early Image stuff, and Image in general is almost usually pretty good. But I would say this one was pretty solid. It's another team. And I would say as far as I rank it in overall older Image stuff, it's probably like a mid-tier one. But a decent read and a fairly enjoyable team so far for this one issue. So yeah, I liked it. I had fun reading it. All right, next up we have Batman Prelude to the Wedding. And it is part 4 of that, I guess. It is Red Hood versus Anarchy. It says Batman number 1. I guess maybe it's the Red Hood part of it, number 1, I guess. He says you crashed the wrong party, jerkface. So basically you get Anarchy battling Red Hood, so I enjoyed that part. That was pretty cool. And Red Hood in general is kind of hard to be like the overseer or watcher, like for Catwoman in this one, setting up by Batman, I should say, for Batman and Catwoman's wedding, and that was a pretty intriguing storyline. But yeah, overall, I liked it quite a bit. Wasn't like the best Batman story ever, but it's pretty decent. Fun one-off book. I guess it's a one-off, as far as I know it is. But either way, it was pretty cool. Definitely had fun reading it. Next up, we have Secret Invasion, The Mighty Avengers, number 15. So it's The Mighty Avengers, number 15, but it's a Secret Invasion, more accurately. But yeah, we have some Skrull stuff going on here. Basically, this one, you have some marital issues with the original Ant-Man and Wasp, which is Hank Pym and, what's her name? Not Janet Van Dyne, because that's his daughter, right? I don't know. Or no, Janet Van Dyne is her, I think, in hopes there's, I think it's right. I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, that's right. But either way, you get the original ones of those. They're having a lot of issues here. And then you mix in some crazy Skrull stuff that takes place, and it really gets pretty crazy. So yeah, different type of issue and pretty interesting in its own right. Pretty quick read as well, so I enjoyed that one. This one is basically, it's Faces of Evil Prometheus one-shot, by the way. But this one is pretty much focused on Prometheus, the villain, which I didn't really know much about. Maybe not much at all, other than hearing of him and stuff before this. But it's basically setting up another book, I believe. But it's a pretty good showcase of who he was and is, because he tells a little bit of backstory in this as well. And some crazy stuff happens, and it kind of ends in an exciting fashion. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to reading more with him in it. If I figure out what, if I get that next book. I forget what the title was, but it tells in it what it continues in, I think. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, next up we had Eradicator number 2. It is only a 3-part miniseries anyways, at least this run is. I really liked the first issue as a setup. This one continues that pretty well. He's trying to basically get his head on straight and figure out who he is. And it's kind of a cool Spirit Quest type of thing. And yeah, it leads off into a very exciting setup for the 3rd issue, which I do have. So I'm excited to read that one when I get a chance now. So yeah, I really like this. If you find these 3 parts of this, I'd recommend it so far, by the way. And I definitely would recommend the 4-part Wild Dog, by the way, if you guys could find that. All right. And next up, we have X-Men Red number 2. This is the variant cover, actually. But I loved X-Men Red number 1. It's a team led by Jean Grey. And it has a really cool cast of X-Men in it, including Nightcrawler, which I always like a lot. But yeah, this was just a pretty good second issue after the great first one. I definitely want to pick up more of this if I could find it. Keep reading it because I like this quite a bit. All right, continuing the X-Men stuff. We got Uncanny X-Men, number 410, Hope 1 of 3. And basically in this one, they get a distress call, and the team has to go and try to help out with that. Also, you get a very serious thing with a young mutant boy who's about to go down a really dark path, and you're wondering what's going to happen with that. I won't spoil it, but it ends pretty cool. I like where it's going with that so far in this. And yeah, that was really enjoyable. And then it continues in this one, Uncanny X-Men 411. It is Hope Part 2. It continues in this one. Some crazy stuff happens. You had at the end of the one before this, I just mentioned a plane crash in it. And yeah, some crazy fallout from that for sure. And you find out what the problem is some insane stuff going on here for sure. And you also get a battle between the X-Men and Juggernaut, so that's always nice. But yeah, very cool. It's a different cast of X-Men. It has a lot of the classics with some of the newer ones at this point too. So yeah, very enjoyable. I love those issues. Next up, we have Uncanny X-Men number 522, Nation X. So you finally figure out what Magneto was doing in the other issues that I reviewed a while back. So this was really cool. You finally figure out what he was trying to do, and it was something that's actually very interesting. It's and you find out the resolution with Kitty Pryde of something that had been going on, so that's pretty cool as well. And this is a really good X-Men book. And all the ones around this time I've enjoyed so far reading, and this is definitely one of them. I really liked it quite a lot. Very cool ending on this one, I will say. We also have, this is the last one. And last but not least, I read Avengers West Coast number 84. Very cool cover. First of all, you get Spider-Man cameoing, so he's actually in it a little bit too. So very cool. That's always a plus. You get the big ending with setting up the next issue where Deathweb, the team, shows up. I don't really consider that a spoiler because it tells it right there, by the way. But yeah, for set up for the next issue. And also, very importantly, you get Spider-Woman's origin in this. So that was really cool, actually. I like that I had that one and also read it finally. I like that Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter, quite a bit, so it's very cool. And in general, it was a pretty good Avengers West Coast issue because you get some different topics that they go back and forth with the team there in a decent amount as well. And yeah, just overall a pretty enjoyable issue. I really had fun reading all of these. I hope you guys like my reviews. I'm Alex Blue. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you later.